come back to the U.S. Mr. Producer. Boom. Yeah, we're live. Back from Mexico. Damn, that was a good trip to Mexico. Last night was fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. We were gambling with 4 different Hans from Germany.
Yeah. Would have been more fun if Hans wanted to pay us, but
Yeah, he was their favorite employee. He had an odd obsession with the number 7 because he tended to roll that quite a bit, and he liked 4s too. He did like 4s.
yeah, he was a 4 addict.
He was a 4 addict. At the one point, I told him in the chat, I said, this guy loves rolling and banging 4s. He loves 4s.
Yeah, he was going to Fours Anonymous.
He was a fucking 4 addict. 4 addict and a 7 addict. The 7 addict, I didn't like that. I was hoping that he could kick that.
Yeah, he couldn't.
He couldn't kick it. Unfortunate. For those of you who don't know. Oh, Naeem. Naeem's dialed in. So do you know who Naeem is?
Yeah. Yeah, he's the one pumping. He's pumping it.
He's pumping our bags on YouTube. He's the SEO specialist straight out of Bangladesh. He's the most competent individual that ever came out of that country. Confirmed. Naeem's probably going to be able to buy. Whoops. He's probably going to be able to buy Bangladesh here pretty soon with the way that he's pumping our bags. Mad Mike. What's going on, Mad Mike? I think that's Mike Neighbors. He's a gentleman.
Oh, nice.
Joined the group chat, the private crypto plays.
Yeah, good guy.
Good guy, solid guy. Mike Neighbors is a stud. Mad Mike, if that's you, I probably shouldn't be putting in. I keep putting people's names out there. We'll cut that out, Mad Mike.
It's live.
Yeah, it's live. Oh yeah. Once it goes uploaded to YouTube, Naeem, bookmark that fucking spot on the stream. Cut that out. Oh yeah, it is him. So
love thy neighbor.
Yeah, love thy neighbors. So, all right, Bees, what's going on? Another episode of the Ultimate Market Professionals. Episode, what is this, 13? He said it's all good. Fantastic. Episode 13. The people were in shambles last week. We saw what happened. Little puke, little pullback in the bull market. Everybody's losing their minds. It's going down. Is it over? Should we sell? Are we still holding until Q1, Q2? Yes. Relax. We're holding. Pullbacks happen. It's called a bull run. At some point, there's going to be a pullback. Everything's fine. And so just give us your thoughts real quick, Bees, on what you saw over this past weekend. Try to calm these people down because I know they're a little bit, they're in shambles right now.
Yeah, I mean, the only crypto I've lost is in Rubet, so.
Yeah, the only L's we've taken are on the fucking craps table from Hans.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think a lot of people have realized this, but it's like whenever you're trying to make 5 to 10x on an investment plus, I know on Andy and Landwolf, our targets are more like 20 to 50x, just depending on what Ethereum does. But I think it's important to remember that like whenever you're expecting to get a result like that out of your money and you compare it to what kind of results and what kind of returns you expect out of a legacy market like the stocks, you have to be prepared for it to not be easy. There's a reason that you're able to make that kind of money. And one of the analysts that we follow, he put out a tweet that everyone was kind of freaking out about, myself included, whenever I first read it, because I didn't really understand it. But he said, with where his convictions are at right now after the big pullback following the FOMC meeting last week, he was saying that he saw at about a 55% chance that all of the boys club memes were going to do at least a 5 to 10x, and a 45% chance that his portfolio would end up being worth about 40% of what it is right now. So at first, when you read it and you hear those numbers, you're like, oh man, that's almost a roll of the dice. Like that sounds bad. But whenever, like, say you guys have invested $10,000 in your portfolio right now, and you have a chance to either that turns into 50 to 100,000 over the next 6 to 12 months, and there's a 55% chance of that happening, or a 45% chance of your 10,000 being worth $4,000. It's like the upside versus the downside is so much larger, and the percentage of it happening is higher. Like that's why you invest in crypto. So it's like these pullbacks to me and to Priyamo, it's like they're completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things because it's like this is a 2-year long swing trade that we've been in since the beginning of the year. One pullback for 30% in the middle of the uptrend, whenever people are freaking out about the pullback. It's like Bitcoin's at 92,000, 93,000. It's like people were freaking out whenever Bitcoin pulled back below 100,000, where, like you said last week, 3 weeks ago, everyone was losing their minds because Bitcoin was finally above. Yeah, the pullbacks we're getting, they're not even that bad because we're still up hundreds of percent on our meme coins since we got in back during the accumulation periods. But yeah, it's not supposed to be easy. It's you're expecting huge returns. It's not going to come at no cost, and the cost is being able to stick through periods like this with conviction and not cheat.
Right. And that all of that was very well said. Real quick, are you still in Cabo right now?
No, I
Okay.
saw you froze there on my end.
Okay, I was just making sure it wasn't the fact that we were in Mexico. But I did, yeah, you froze too for me. So all right. We're good now though. I just want to make sure we weren't still in
Okay,
Cabo.
yeah, I'm back in Jersey.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, yeah, I'm in Jersey too. So, but no, you're exactly right. That's the thing is, number one, get rich or die trying. That's always been the mindset. Is how bad do you actually want to win? Okay, are you really gonna allow one little pullback, one little setback, completely have you sidelined and exit the market before the actual real meat of the move happens? The alt season's gonna come in Q1 and Q2. You're gonna allow one pullback because you lost 20-30% of the portfolio that you've invested to? Of course not. It's get rich or die trying. If you're not looking for volatility, if you're not looking for huge potential gains, then this is the wrong market for you because every every action has an equal and opposite reaction. If you want to have the generational upside, you're also going to have to deal with the generational downside. You're going to have to deal with the fact that volatility is going to go both ways. Volatility is not just in one direction. A highly volatile asset is volatile in both directions. The point is, what you're trying to do when you're analyzing these markets and you're following guys like us, is you're trying to buy it at the correct times so that you buy it at the bottom, you buy it during dips, you buy it when it's bottomed out at the bottom of its range, and then you sell at the top, right? So you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have this fantastic upside potential where you're going to print a 10, 15, 20x from the lows, 50x from the lows on some of these assets, yet not be able to stomach the 30% pullback, a 20% pullback. It's unrealistic, nor do you deserve the upside then. If you can't stomach the downside, you don't deserve the upside. And that's exactly what happens to people who cheat in these markets. They want all the upside. They see the downside. Oh, sell, oh, sell, oh, sell, oh, sell. They sell for a loss. Then it starts pumping again. They FOMO back in. Oh my God, it's pumping. They buy back in. They buy back in at the top. Starts to pull back again. Oh shit, I gotta sell. And it's just this vicious cycle of FOMOing in at the top and selling for losses at the bottom, when you have to switch the way that you think about these things and say, well, if I buy red and then I sell green, that means I make money. But in reality, most people think the opposite. They buy green whenever it looks good and they sell whenever it looks bad when it's red. So then you're losing money. You can't operate that way in these markets. That's not how it works. You got to rewire your brain and understand that there's got to be a vision down the road as to where this asset's going to be. So though it looks shit right now, I have to believe in something and think that, well, in 4 or 5 months from now, it's going to look a lot sexier as this market continues to play out.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's just so important whenever, especially if you're dealing with a small amount of capital, which, a lot of people who are getting into crypto, that's why they're doing it, is because they don't have a ton of money to invest. In the grand scheme of things, it's like if you're trying to set up for a generational play, anything less than $100,000, which is the majority of crypto investors, that's not a ton of money to try and create generational wealth. So you need to have a ton of volatility to be able to create that. And whenever you are working with a small amount of money, you have to find things that are very asymmetric risk. And by asymmetric risk, I mean there's a potential to lose a significant amount of the money that you put up, but there's also way more upside than there is downside, which is exactly that tweet that I was explaining. There's a chance for a 60% pullback where, your portfolio is worth 40% of what it is right now. But on the other side of that, there's also a chance for it to go up, 1,000%, 2,000%, even 10,000%, depending on what coins you're invested in. And I saw Murad, for anybody that's on X, if you guys are invested in meme coins, you've probably heard of Murad. He put out a tweet either yesterday or this morning saying that he still sees a 100 to 200x coming out of a lot of meme coins this cycle. But he said the most important thing is to buy the coins that you believe in and to hold them with conviction, because the more that you try and rotate from one to the other, and you try and chase pumps and try and chase the thing that's performing well that day or that week, you're going to continue to get burned. So yeah, that's why we're swing trading. That's why we're not, trying to flip shit on the daily. We're not trying to be Euro scalpers. So
Correct. Yeah, you hold the long term positions. That's where you're gonna have the most success. I was just talking to a gentleman last night. I had met Jacob, our one friend, introduced me to somebody that he knew growing up, and so he's huge in the crypto space, and that's what he does full time. Is obviously just invest into crypto. He starts some projects. He's done NFT projects. He's gonna start a video game within the crypto space as well. So he's done very very well for himself in crypto. And just the conversation that we we're having relit that flame inside of me that I had obviously years ago whenever I first learned about crypto, of how much potential there is within the ecosystem and within the space as well, outside of just buying and holding assets. So the people that are watching, it's great to swing trade. It's great to make money off of meme coins and do all these great things. That's great, right? That's what we're here to do, is make generational wealth off of our altcoins. But when you make that money and you do start to rotate out of those positions next year into stable coins, into Bitcoin, these other things, there's so much you can do now with that capital to continue to generate an income off of that money. So as opposed to just holding an asset and selling it for higher, now you can use that capital and put it to work. There's so many things that you can do on chain and on these different L1s that have been created. I mean, people are developing video games. People are developing decentralized finance platforms like Aave, Uniswap. You can provide liquidity to liquidity pools and generate fees off of your guys' assets. So one of the things I'm going to start doing here pretty soon is on my very large boys club positions, start to provide liquidity and earn fees on my liquidity in V3 pools on Uniswap, and start to just boom pump out fees as we go towards the end of this bull run, because the transactions that are going to be occurring, the volume that's going to occur on these boys club memes is going to be off the charts. So if I'm generating fees off of my assets, that's money on top of my appreciating assets. And not only are my assets appreciating, but I'm also generating fees as they're appreciating, right? There's so many different things you can do to make money in this space, but people just have no idea.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think that people always say scared money doesn't make money. So it's like you guys have to just make the decision that you're okay with that potential loss. Because if not, if that's always in the back of your mind that like you have money invested in crypto right now, where if there is that 60% correction and we end up flipping into a bear market and shit hits the fan and doesn't go the way that we've been expecting it to, if you're not okay with that, and the money that, because we've been preaching since the beginning, invest money that you don't need to see right now, because the people who put in money that maybe they need to use for paying their rent, they need it for Christmas shopping, they need it to pay their bills, whatever. Those are the people that are going to always be having to sell at the wrong time. Those are the people that are going to always be trying to jump in on the way up, ride it for a couple percentage points, and then be able to sell. And whenever it pulls back, 5, 10, 15%, they're jumping out for a loss. And those people are going to be our exit liquidity all cycle. So you just have to really make that decision in your mind that you're okay with that outcome, that 40%, 45% chance that that is the outcome. Because once you just make that decision and you kind of give it away to the cycle, and you just trust your convictions, you trust us, you trust, the tons of people that are in the same boat as us, you're not going to be stressed out about these pullbacks, because you're fully convicted to the play, and what you're just going to let the market do its thing. I think it's the same thing with gambling. Obviously, I don't think this is pure gambling, because there's a lot of calculations that went into it. There's a reason that we're invested in these plays. But whenever you go to a casino, if you're gambling money that you're not okay with losing, you're going to have a miserable time, and you're going to end up losing it, because it's in the back of your mind that you can't afford to. So
Yes.
yeah, you got to make that decision and stick to it and just ride it.
That's such a great point, because you got to have the fucking balls to go all in when it's time to go all in. You can't be hesitant with your bags. Me and Logan off stream talk about it all the time. My fiat reserves, all this money I had saved up over multiple years now, it's almost all in crypto. Like I'm all in, player. This isn't. It's get rich or die trying. I would rather for the opportunity to make life-changing money and change my family's entire bloodline, that's worth it to me compared to the risk of, losing 60% of what I've accumulated over the past 4 years, right? It's worth it to me because I've had a lot of money in cash, and the best way to put it is the closer that you get to $1 million, the more you realize it's not a lot of money. Like $1 million is not a lot of money. So it's like you can't be afraid then to risk it to be able to get a sum of money that is life changing. That's the best way that I can put it for people is $1 million is not a lot of money. So even when having that amount of money, if you feel like, well, shit, I need way more than this to fucking retire my family, then you're going to be willing to go all in on these kinds of markets. And that you as an individual who's not, deep 6 figures in your bags or deep 10 figures or 5 figures in your bags, you should operate with the same mindset. It's like you losing 50 grand is not going to change your life, but you turning that 50 grand into 5 million, into $1 million, that'll change your life. So for me, the risk to reward is worth it. That's the reason that you do this, right?
Yeah. I just keep thinking about the end of the cycle. I keep thinking about next year, in September, October, November, December, like once we're really getting towards the end of the way that these cycles usually play out, that's usually the back end of ETH season. That's when we're going to be starting to get out of our positions. Where do you guys want to be? That's what I always keep thinking about is the vision of where we're trying to take this thing and where it's supposed to end up based off of our calculations. So I know that if I was to capitulate now during the first real correction of this bull run, yeah, I could get out and maybe I could save, 20% of my positions, 30% of my positions compared to where, they may eventually pull back to if we really do happen to flip into a bear market here in the next couple months. But it's like, am I really going to be happy at the end of next year that I saved myself 20 or 30% on my portfolio where it's at now versus how pissed off I would be if I did capitulate now and I missed out on 10 to 20 to 30x on what my portfolio is worth right now? It's like the opportunity cost of what I'd be missing out on would piss me off way more than if I were to capitulate now and save myself that 20 to 30%. It's like I'm not going to look back and be happy that I got out and saved myself the maybe, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand versus what I would miss out on. Because yeah, like you said, that conserved loss that I would save myself, it's not going to make a difference in the grand scheme of things, but the profits that I would miss out on would definitely make a significant difference in the trajectory of my life.
Exactly.
So,
and that's the whole reason everybody's here is, let's not fucking sugarcoat it. People are here to make life-changing money. That's the whole fucking point. So anyways, just so you guys know though, definitely no bear market. We're going to be pumping our fucking faces off in Q1. So, all right, gentlemen, and let me show you exactly why. So let's do advanced screen share, portion of screen, and we'll pull up the trading view. Wait, what can you see right now? Can you see trading view? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I see Streamlabs and I also see the Bitcoin USD chart. Now I just see Bitcoin USD.
Beautiful. All right, let me get this out of here. Classic. Mr. Producer. All right. Okay, so just so you guys know, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is fine, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing to worry about. It's obviously an uptrend, pretty clear. Okay. So what can happen for Bitcoin over the next week or so? So because the holiday months are pretty illiquid, or not holiday months, the holiday week is pretty illiquid, considering that a lot of people are away from their computers, markets are closed on certain days, people aren't trading as much as they typically are, etc. There's a lot less volume going into these markets, which means that the markets are going to be a lot more easily manipulated by the market makers if they choose to do so. Okay. Now, this is actually a good thing because they're not going to cheat us down to fucking, 75,000 and kill the entire cycle. No, it's not going to happen. So essentially what's probably going to happen for the rest of this week is we're going to be chopping around consolidating. We might run a couple of lows, so we might dip down a little bit lower, 88K, 89K, 90K. And then once we do that, towards the end of this week and going into Q1 is whenever you're going to start to see the bull market start to what's it called? Continue again. And the window for any kind of downside, if there is more downside, is going to end as soon as Trump gets inaugurated. Because as soon as Trump gets inaugurated, it's going to be another bullish catalyst, just like the election was. As soon as he was starting to win the election, markets started pumping to Valhalla. Same thing's going to happen whenever he gets inaugurated. When he gets inaugurated, markets are going to pump because he's super bullish on the markets. He's buying crypto. His companies are buying crypto. He's talking about crypto. It's going to happen. So worst case scenario, we're going to consolidate and have a little bit of downside until the inauguration, and then we're pumping again. But just to show you a couple of levels that we could hit on Bitcoin. So right now we're at 93.5. If we did want to sweep a couple of lows, I mean, we could take out that wick. We could take out this one maybe. So 91K, 92K. If they really wanted to max pain us, we could sweep this low, which is right here. What is that? 90,000. It's like there's no reason to come back down further than really 90,000. Maybe we get an 88, 89 just to scare some people, continue to get some people to capitulate and get out of their bags. But outside of that, I mean, you're pretty much towards the low end of the downside for Bitcoin, right? You got any thoughts on that, Bees?
No, I mean, I think you're right. Yeah. I mean, as long as the aliens don't,
start abducting people. Yeah. So Bitcoin's fine. I mean, that's really all we can say about that. So, and typically Bitcoin, it'll go on a run for at least another 1 or 2 quarters on a post halving year, and then the year after a halving year. So we got about another quarter or 2 of upside on Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum's the one obviously that controls all of our bags. Okay. So Bitcoin, obviously, once that starts pumping, Ethereum will be fine. But here's where we're at on Ethereum. So let's pull it up over here. So right now we're at 33.6. Okay, by the end of the year, we certainly want to try to reclaim 3,600, or else we're going to probably be waiting later into the cycle before we get a huge blow off top on Ethereum, so into 10,000 plus territory. But as you can see here, Ethereum essentially on this 4 hour, you can see this right here. They G'd it super hard, got a bunch of people to capitulate, and this is what happens, right? They have this massive candle, red candle to the downside on the 4 hour with literally no wicks on it, which is crazy. G'd super hard down to 3,100. A bunch of people capitulate. A bunch of people sell their meme coin bags, altcoin bags, etc. They get out of the market. What do? Literally the next candle. Fucking pump it right back up to where it was at. Bring it up a little bit. Start to bottom out here. And then same thing for Ethereum. We could create a little range down here and just range for the rest of the month. Something. I mean, they could do something like this. Oh, hold on. It could do something maybe like this. That looks like a good range right there. So they could do something like this. So here's the top of the range, bottom of the range, mid-range. So some interaction there. So it could range in this area for a little bit. But you see right here, this 35.63, the top of the range. Essentially what we need is Ethereum to get back above this. Do something like this. And get back above 3,600 up here. So that's where we want Ethereum to get to. Okay. As long as Ethereum can get there by the end of the month, we should be fine. But anything on that, Bees?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been waiting for. I think that's what we're all waiting for. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive that Ethereum is still trading below range highs. I mean, can you pull up the Bitcoin dominance chart?
Yeah. Yeah, see it pumped up again from that top, but it's going to start nuking again here soon.
Yeah, so I mean, this is obviously starting to flip into a downtrend.
Yep.
So yeah, as you guys can see, I mean, Bitcoin it lost a ton of dominance over the end of December. When everyone was thinking that alt season was beginning, the market makers kind of faked everyone out. We had that huge pullback after the FOMC meeting last week, which I'm assuming that's when this chart. Yeah, so this chart had nuked the end of November. So about
Yes.
November 15th, Ethereum started really pumping, and then so did altcoins.
Hmm.
So that's when we saw the huge pumps out of Landwolf, especially. I think Landwolf went up like 300% starting November 15th. We saw big moves out of pretty much everything. Everything was at all-time highs, except for Brett, which had already broken out a little bit early. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's been regaining a little bit of dominance, but again, it's like Ethereum has ETFs approved on chain, it has a ton of institutional money. A lot of companies are putting millions, if not billions of dollars into the Ethereum chain. So, Bitcoin, it's already trading even after the pullbacks 30 to 40% above previous range highs from this past year. Ethereum still hasn't even broken out of range highs. It's hit its head off of the 4,100, 4,200 number multiple times and then trended back down. But eventually, as soon as this chart breaks, which it looks like I mean, I think that that line's actually pretty accurate. I know you
Yeah.
kind of just drew it randomly, but I do think that that's what it's going to do. And you guys can see he has that dipping down to about 50% towards March.
Hmm.
I think that's exactly what we're going to see. So, yeah, I think this chart's putting in a local top right now, and we're going to start trending back down. Bitcoin's going to start to lose its dominance. And yeah, I think, like you said, once we get Ethereum to break above 36, 3,700, hopefully it starts gaining some momentum and carries us into a juicy Q1.
Yep. Yeah, and you look at this chart. How does this not look topped? I mean, this chart is fucking topped. Look, just perpetual uptrend. Bitcoin market dominance has been going up for the past 4 years, right? As it does every post bull run. So it nuked over here, the last bull run, right? It nukes, Bitcoin dominance nukes, meaning that altcoins get market share over Bitcoin, right? Meaning that our bags are pumping. Okay, so the bull run, okay, ends. We go into the bear market in 2022. And then Bitcoin slowly for 4 years just continues to gain market cap dominance on the entire crypto market cap space. So what happens now, this is what happens every 4 years during the bull run, and this is what we're looking for, is for this Bitcoin dominance now to start doing what it did up here, which is start to nuke, right? So over here, it started nuking. That means altcoins and alt season is happening. So that's what we're in the process of putting in right now. And this is why it's so important to understand the context of where we're at in the market cycle, because you see this little, 20% pullback, 10, 15% pullback on Bitcoin, you start to lose your mind. Altcoins are going down, etc. Not understanding that you're literally just about to enter the best part of the entire cycle. It is about to happen. The best part with the most outsized gains, with the best performance for your altcoins, the best performance for Ethereum, etc. If you got out of the market here, you are going to be fucking pissed within a couple of weeks, because this is the move that's about to happen from over here, right? This move is literally what's happening right now. It's in the process of just literally just put in its top, and look how obvious this is. It's a slow grind up, slow grind up, slow grind up, slow grind up. All of a sudden, boom, nuke, broke market structure. Look, much lower low than these previous higher lows, right? All this is an uptrend, 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 boom, nuke. Come up here. All right, this is the head. This is basically the shoulder, the complacency shoulder that it just put in. So here's the top, nukes, puts in a complacency shoulder, which is a lower high. And then it's starting to do what again? Starting to nuke. And it's just going to continue to do that, boom, until you get that fucking jeet to the downside. And that's this move right here that we're looking for. And that's when altcoins are going ballistic, because altcoins are taking more of the market share over Bitcoin. So, I mean, you're here. You're literally here. So this pullback was for buying, ladies and gentlemen, as we've always said. You should have been buying that shit.
Yeah. And can you pull up the ETH BTC chart too?
For sure. So it should be this one. Yeah. It's on the weekly. I mean, yeah, look at this. Same thing. Looks like it's pretty bottom to me. Let's put it on like, let me add a custom. I want to do like a 3 or 5 day. Do 4 days. Yeah. So same thing with ETH BTC. All right. So we've explained this before. ETH BTC chart is basically showing the performance of Ethereum over Bitcoin. Okay. So as this chart is going down, that means Ethereum is underperforming what Bitcoin is doing. Therefore, Bitcoin is a better hold. Alt season happens whenever Ethereum starts drastically outperforming Bitcoin. So we've been in a perpetual downtrend, the opposite of BTC dominance, for the past 4 years, right? Alt season, where is it at? March 21. ETH BTC pumps that into May 21. That's whenever Dogecoin went to 95 billion last cycle. That's alt season right there. Okay. And then again in December 21, which was also the second top for Bitcoin was in November 21. The altcoin top was in December 21. Boom. There you go. ETH BTC pumped again in December 21. It correlates exactly. So then we've been in a downtrend and we get here where, hold on a second. Notice something. Did the trend just break? Did we just make a higher low? Over here, everything is downtrend, 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 right? Lower highs, lower lows, lower low, lower low. Okay, kind of broke up a little bit over here, but lower lows. Downtrend, boom, right here. We pumped a little bit, higher low. This is going to start going like this into Q1, Q2. And when that starts pumping again, the boys club memes are going to go fucking parabolic. And that's why you're holding those puppies. So this is going to start doing this.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's just like to think that Bitcoin has been gaining dominance for 2 years straight and has already broken out to, 40, 50% above previous range highs. And to think that Ethereum has been losing dominance and just ranging for 2 years, and to think that Ethereum is never going to break out, like that it's just never going to get even above range highs, let alone go into price discovery like Bitcoin has already, is just, I think it's insane. I mean, there's no way that this entire thing is going to lead to Ethereum going up to 4,100 and then that's it. Like there's no way. Because it's like we're not the only, like I think it's important for everyone to know, like we're not the only ones that pay attention to this. And I think sometimes people psych themselves out because they think, oh, well, everyone knows this, so the market makers aren't going to allow it to happen. It's like, who do you think was accumulating this entire time? It's like the market makers have been accumulating this entire time. They need to make a profit also. It's like, yeah, they're trying to make themselves as profitable as they can be. They're going to try and shake Jeets out of the market. They're going to try and shake people out of their long positions. Like the market was super, super heavy leveraged the past few weeks because everyone was just expecting it to be up only for the rest of the year.
Yep.
So the market makers, they know that they got to get these people out of these long positions so they're not getting fucking rinsed on these pumps. But yeah, the market makers have been accumulating for months. They're wanting to make money on their positions too. And it's like, yeah, obviously everyone knows this. Like everyone pays attention to previous cycle trends and is expecting it to repeat itself because crypto is very cyclical and history does definitely repeat itself.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think there's no way that Ethereum after all this time and all this accumulation and all this ranging is going to peak out at 41, 4,200. There's just no way.
It's not a chance. Of course
not after Bitcoin's performed the way it has and is continuing to do.
Exactly. And this is what the smart money, this is what they want you to think. They want you to think that it's over for Ethereum, that Ethereum's not going to do much. Oh, we're not going to have an alt season, blah, 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 blah. And that's exactly what they want you to think. Why? Because while you think Ethereum's not going to do anything, that's when Larry Fink, BlackRock, all these major financial institutions are accumulating that asset in order to go ahead and get a better position than you and front run you for whenever it does start pumping and then you start buying their bags, right? Larry Fink, all these TradFi companies, the reason they approved ETFs for Ethereum and they're pumping all this money into the Ethereum network is because they're building tech and they're building infrastructure on the Ethereum ecosystem. Therefore, they want to own a lot of Ethereum. So while Bitcoin's pumping and stealing the show right now, and people are making a bunch of money off of Bitcoin, that's perfect for them. Because if Bitcoin's pumping, they're not interested necessarily in buying more Bitcoin. They're interested in accumulating Ethereum because it's not sexy right now. This is how people make money in the market. You have to understand this and think this way. You buy the asset and you accumulate the asset when it's not sexy. That's the only way to make money. You have to get that through your head. So what Larry Fink, BlackRock, these massive companies are doing with these ETFs is they're accumulating so much of this Ethereum asset, building on Ethereum to then go ahead and make it the premier asset down the road. That's exactly what's going to happen. So that rotation from Bitcoin is what we're waiting for. So you see this Ethereum chart from last cycle, it peaked out at 4,800. There's just no way that you're not going to get a move. You're telling me you can't get a move up to, a 2x from previous cycle all-time highs? Because if you look at it like this, right? Let's look at it from the previous cycle for Ethereum just to give you guys an idea. So 2021 November is when Ethereum topped out at about 48.68, right? Last cycle, 2017, so January 18 is actually whenever it peaked. I was going to put that right here. Okay. So Ethereum from this cycle, or from previous cycle to the 2017 cycle bull run, it did what? It did 237% move, right? So you're telling me we can't get, even if you factor in the law of diminishing returns, you think that there's no way we can do as big of a move from last cycle. It's law of diminishing returns, no way. Okay, so you're telling me it can't go up 100%, a 2x from its previous all-time high. So you're telling me now from 57 or 4,700, 4,800, we can't get to 10K on Ethereum? 10K on Ethereum would be light. And we think it's going to go higher than that just based off of the fibs that we have drawn out and the different situations that we've basically laid out for Ethereum. We do believe it's going to go higher than that, but you're telling me at the very least it can't do 10K? Of course it can. That's only a 100% move.
What did it do from the lows?
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. So from the lows, yeah, that's a great point. So from the bear market lows, let's put it on like this one right here. Oop. Hold on. There it is. From the lows, it did 6,000%, a 60x.
Yeah. And it's like, you guys see where that started. Yeah, I mean, like, this isn't supposed to be a time where Ethereum's really performing all that well. It's like, it's happened every single year. It's the year following the Bitcoin halving is when Ethereum starts to perform really well. So obviously we had the Bitcoin halving earlier this year. This year was the election year. It's always the following year whenever Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin for pretty much the entire calendar year. So obviously it's hard to realize that because we've already gotten so many great gains out of the altcoins, which is incredible. And that should be really exciting for you guys that we've already gotten this kind of return out of the boys club whenever we're not even in historical ETH season yet. It's like we've been preaching that. It's like Ethereum's doing nothing and these altcoins are moving up hundreds of percents from the lows. So yeah, I mean, we're not supposed to be seeing the crazy ETH movement that we've seen in previous cycles. We're not even supposed to be seeing it yet. Right. It's like we're not even there yet. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just business as usual. And I mean, I think this pullback by the end of, Q2, Q3, 2025, you guys are going to look back at this pullback on the chart. It's going to be pretty insignificant. Same thing with the August 5th pullback. You look back on it now, doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But whenever you're in it, seems really bad. Whenever you get up and your portfolio over 2 days is down 30%, it doesn't feel small whenever you're in it. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, once we get more into 2025 and into ETH season, you guys are going to look back on these pullbacks. It's going to be a blip on the chart.
Exactly. Blip. So, and think about it. Ethereum makes 150% move from its previous cycle all-time high. It's at $12,300. We've done this on videos before. Go back and watch my videos that I've uploaded about this. Ethereum does 150% move. I mean, from where it's at right now, I mean, Ethereum would be, think about it. ETH is at 33 right now, 33.38. That's a 300% move if it goes to $12,000, right? So think about it from just where it's at right now. If Ethereum does a 4x from where it's at right now, how many X's is Pepe going to do? What? 4? Probably at least 10. So Pepe does a 10x. Brett's going to do how many X's? 14? 12? Andy's going to do how many X's? At least 15 to 20. Wolf's going to do how many X's? 20? 25? If we get it to go to 12.3 thousand Ethereum. So like that's the moves that you're about to start seeing. This is the best part of the cycle. This is exactly what you've been waiting for. Just from right here, a 4x on Ethereum if it goes to 150% of its previous all-time high. And then the one other point I'll make too, you were talking about that August 5th nuke, right? That's whenever everybody was losing their shit. Japan liquidated themselves. We get that August 5th nuke right here. This is on the weekly time frame. This is why you guys have to zoom out. It just created this massive wick. It opened the week at Ethereum opened the week at $2,700, nuked on August 5th to 2,000, and closed the week at 2,500 within 150 points of where the week opened. Literally a blip in the radar. So everybody thinks it's over, and then within a couple of days, it literally closed only 150 points away from it where it opened the week, and then we had fucking done this and then pumped back up. Like it's just, again, these things. In the moment they suck, but you gotta understand it. You just buy, player. Just fucking buy, and then you'll see when the time is right, when the market conditions are correct. That's when you sell.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for anyone that's been following these plays and following us since the beginning of the year, whenever we started accumulating these positions, it's like if you've held through this range from hell this entire year to sell now, it's like you just walked 500 miles to get to your destination, and now you're on the doorstep of where you've been trying to get to.
Right.
You can't capitulate on the doorstep after you just walked 500 miles. It's like you can't do it. So it's like if you've already made it to this point, number one, you're already up hundreds of multiples, or not hundreds of multiples, but hundreds of percent on your positions. Even if you got in a little bit later on the cycle, compared to where we're at right now, even if you bought the Pico top of the Boys Club members, you're still down maybe 30%, 40% if you've bought and just held from the top. So it's like, yeah, you might be down 30 to 40% on your positions. Worst case scenario, assuming you bought the absolute top of every single asset that we've talked about, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? It's like, yeah, you just have to have conviction. You can't capitulate on the doorstep.
Yep. And this is why data is so important, and doing TA on these charts gives you confidence, is because now you have something to base it off of. If you have confidence in the data on what's going on and you understand what's happening, you're going to hold through everything. If you're somebody who just buys things on Coinbase or on Robinhood and you just watch up and down your number, your bank account, or your account value go up and down, you're going to be trading completely based off of emotion. There's no data behind it. There's no thesis. There's no system or process in place to make you profitable over a long enough time frame. You're literally just going based off of feelings, right? You can't do that, because people who trade based off of feelings, and this is just like everything in life when it comes to business and making money, if you operate based off of emotions, you will never win. People who operate based off of emotions within business and within, making money, which is essentially math, emotions don't offer you any advantage, only disadvantages. So you need to know what the data is so that you're confident what's happening on the long term, so then you don't get afraid. You don't get fucking emotional about what's going on.
So ignoring that wick down in March 2020, just because I think that was around back in 2020. So yeah, ignoring that one because that was COVID. The following pullback, what was the percentage on that one?
This one, what do you mean? Like up here?
No, one pullback over from like that big red candle with the two wicks. It's like following it was back in 2020, like July, October, or around October 2020.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so from this top down here?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I know it looks small in the grand scheme of things, but I think.
Yeah, Only 35%.
Yeah, and I mean we're not even dealing with anything that that dramatic right now.
Exactly. Our pullback right now is way less. So look at this. This is how you guys have to understand how a bull market works. It's a great point that Bauer said that. So this right here looks insignificant on the chart, but that's a 36% pullback. If we would have had that right now, you guys would have been fucking shitting yourselves. You would have been, running through walls, calling your wife, telling her you're probably gonna divorce me. All this, like your life would have been over. So 36% pullback, right? And then look what happens right after that 30% pullback. Whoop. Fucking up only. Parabola. Boom. There you go. You see? Like, that's healthy for bull markets. That's healthy for bull runs. Look, 36% pullback. You literally go fucking straight up only. And then the next major pullback was this one right here. Let's see what that percentage was. Oh, you rats. Oh, you guys really would have lost it there. 62%. But here's the thing. With this one, this is in May. Yeah, in May. You guys know sell in May, go away. So this one, you would have front ran it if you knew what you were doing. So, like, for example, myself and Logan, we would have sold by then. You sell in May, go away. You get this 61% correction, pull back, and then you get this repump into the end of the year for the second top. But, yeah, you typically, ideally, are going to be exiting the market in these candles right here. All right, you're not trying to time the top perfectly and be that guy who says, oh, I called the top. I got it this time. I know when it's going to top. No, you don't. You don't know when it's going to top. You sell into these candles right here. You take your profits. You leave little moon bags just in case. And then, boom, you get your nuke. All right, fine. You're out of the market. So, but that's what I'm saying. And that's what Logan's saying is you get this massive correction right here, 35, 36%. You're holding through this one. This one you hold through. You're accumulating down here. You're getting these generational entries, and then bang, you got parabola. You're up only. And these are weekly candles. This is every single week. It's just up for fucking how many weeks straight? Months. Fucking 5-6 months. Just straight up.
Yeah, and it's like if you look at the size of some of those candles, it's like during those weeks, yeah, it's like
almost 2x right here, just in this candle.
Yeah, and it's like during that week period, who knows what could have happened? It's like that almost 2x that ended up closing positive that week. During that week, there could have been a 50-60% pullback. It's like whenever you have that much volatility, the higher we go, the more volatile these markets are going to get. So, yeah, I mean, it's just like the one that happened right there. I mean, what's that red candle?
Yeah, that's exactly what I just thought. 33%.
Yeah.
Boom. Weekly candle. And then boom, pumping again.
Yeah. So it's like that was a 33% pullback. Yeah. It's like for where we're at right now, that'd be Ethereum pulling back from 3,300 to almost 2,000. It's like if that happened right now, everyone would be disintegrating. It's like it'd be the end of the world. But
exactly.
Yeah, it's like whenever you have that kind of crazy volatility to the upside, it's going to happen both ways. So it's like, yeah, you guys can think it's over all you want to, but these institutions know what they're doing. These market makers know what they're doing. They're not afraid. Like they're just thanking God for the entries that they're getting. That's what we've been doing too.
Yep. And the other confidence you should draw from the fact there's Ethereum ETFs now is the fact that, correct, diminishing returns are going to enter in the market to a degree to the upside. Now, this cycle, I believe that effect is not going to take place as much because the catalyst that we have now is that we actually really do have way more liquidity, way more money pouring into the markets, being that these institutions can start to invest into Bitcoin and Ethereum. But the downside is also going to be muted as well because these institutions aren't going to allow these assets to fucking completely crumble and go to zero. So these 36%, 33% pullbacks that you're seeing on Ethereum before TradFi was able to invest into them, you're not going to get those same types of pullbacks this bull run, and you really haven't. Like the ones that we've had have not been that extreme. They've been 15%, 20%, but not 30, 35%. That's a lot of diminishing returns. Again, it happens in both directions. So be happy because you're probably not going to see a 40% correction, but you'll get a 20% correction, which is fine. You buy that up and then you ride that bitch back up. this is healthy for a bull market. You have to clear out people who are on leverage. You have to clear out people who have short positions. You have to clear out people who are hedging. You have to do that. It's the only way for people to make money that are market makers, and then for them to be incentivized to continue to send the market up higher. Because if it's just up only, everybody's just going to print and rinse. Everybody. It's just going to be, you can't operate that way. There has to be pullbacks. You have to clean up the charts. So yeah, be fucking thankful you're probably not going to get a 40%er, but this shit happens. It doesn't mean it's over. It just means, well, shit, you better have some conviction bags because you're going to be wanting to bid those spots. Okay. So I saw one guy, real quick, I'll answer the question. He said, what do you guys think about Shiba Inu? I actually had this conversation with Mike too inside of our private chat. It's not that it's a bad asset. I mean, it's certainly performed incredibly well in 2021. The only gripe I have with it is the fact that it is a previous cycle token. So it's just not going to perform as well as something like a Pepe, which is new to this cycle. It's not going to perform as well as a Brett or an Andy or a Wolf because because those are new to this cycle. And the market capitalization on Shiba Inu is so large now that realistically, best case scenario, you get best case scenario 4 or 5x, and that's like really, that it performed very well. But it's not even Doge. You understand? Doge at least is from last cycle, but it's the one that everybody knows about. It's the first one everybody's going to go to invest with. But what's sexy or attractive about SHIB? It was a beta to Doge and from a cycle ago. Who's really bidding that? Don't you think people would rather bid Pepe? That's just my take on it, is you're going to get better performance out of Pepe. And if you want to stay in something that's pretty large market cap and you feel is safe and is owned by major exchanges, just like SHIB, well, Pepe's on all the same exchanges as SHIB. And Pepe's a lower market cap and Pepe's a newer token. So if I were you, I'm not saying you should do this, right? I'm not financial advice, but what I would do is if I had a big SHIB bag, I would have rotated that down into Pepe. And I'm riding Pepe this cycle because Pepe will just outperform it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think too, and something that I always think about with the older coins that were way up, like that was kind of my gripe with XRP, was whenever you have these coins that perform really well in the past and then they've just been down only since last cycle top, you have a lot of people who bought the top of these coins in previous cycles and that are just still holding. So a lot of these people are just waiting to get an exit point where they're either close to break even or they're finally in profit for the first time in years that they've been holding this Dino coin. So that's kind of my gripe with SHIB too. It was honestly a gripe with Doge, but Doge just has such a following and just so much. It's just so well known that it's just always going to pump anytime meme coins are performing well. But with SHIB, it's like there's probably a pretty fair amount of holders right now that are still down money on their position that bought it, way higher either last alt season, or even earlier this year whenever we kind of had the first fake out bull run pump at the beginning of the year in March, April. So you have a lot of people that are just waiting to exit, and so you're always going to be fighting against those people whenever you're trying to take this thing higher, because you have the new people that got in at good positions. They're excited about the performance of SHIB this cycle. They're ready to hold it till, the end of 2025. But you also have a lot of people that are just chomping at the bit, ready to get out of it and get into something different. So you're always going to be fighting those kind of shadow holders from previous cycles.
Yeah, great point. And guess what? Exactly what Logan said is what happened. So people, right, they buy SHIB when it's at the top over here and they're down money. And then maybe they buy some more down here, then they come up here, and they're just perpetually losing money on their position for the next 4 years. So as soon as SHIB catches a bid again, what does it do? Comes up, and it rejects right here on this line. Right? Hits there, it rejects at that high, and then as soon as it got back up to this high, where a lot of people were probably happy with selling for even money, or even selling at a smaller loss than what they would have down here, right? As soon as they got back a lot of their unrealized negative P&L, it nukes back again. Boom. Comes all the way back down here to this high, which looks like it turned it into support. So we'll see how it reacts here. But that's what's going to happen with SHIB is every time it catches a pump up to these highs, it's going to jeet hard because that's when all these previous cycle bag holders are going to try to exit their positions because they're thinking the same thing. Well, shit, I just held SHIB for 4 years, pretty much lost money on it for the past 4 years. It's finally pumping again. As soon as I had the opportunity to exit for close to no loss or a small loss at this high, or I mean, if they were buying up here, then they still got rinsed.
And this is just a 2024 chart.
Oh my.
Yeah, this is whenever it pumped at the beginning of the year. So yeah, it's
Oh
like,
my, look at that. Oh yeah,
yeah,
you're cooked. No offense, but
that's what I'm saying. It's just,
yeah, I mean,
yeah. So
yeah.
from that range from 2022 all the way through 2024, like whenever SHIB finally got some price action again in 2024, when you guys saw it pumped up and it held that price for a week and then just instantly just bled off for the rest of the year. And yeah, you guys are just always going to be fighting those old holders because there's
Yeah.
so many people that are holding this for a loss right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, well, here's the thing. I don't feel bad talking about it cuz SHIB is more than a large enough asset where I can talk poorly about it and it's not going to affect the price of it. We don't have that much influence yet. Soon, though, we will. Soon, we'll be able to move the price of SHIB.
You're going to fudge SHIB.
Yeah, but I am going to FUD your bags right now, Roberto. So, I mean, if you were buying SHIB anywhere in here, yeah, bruv. I mean, you can wait towards the end of the cycle, and the best you're probably going to get out of SHIB is, somewhere up in here. And you maybe break even or sell for a little bit of a profit, but that's the risk to reward is, do you want to sell for break even or a little bit of profit, or do you want to rotate that money now into something that you know is going to perform 5 to 10x, and then you just make way more money than what you would have if you were holding SHIB? I mean, that's the whole idea, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
conviction's important, but I also realized that at the beginning of this year, like sometimes you do have to just kind of bite the bullet and realize you made the wrong purchase, you got in the wrong investment. You just got to cut your losses and stop missing out on the gains you could see somewhere else. Just kind of bite the bullet and move on.
Exactly.
But
What are we thinking here?
we're running a bit short on time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. All right, gentlemen. Well, we're going to get out of here. Here's the fibs, though. The only thing I could see you getting is probably this 2.618. That would probably be your best bet. So outside that, like, comment on the stream, gentlemen. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We need likes to be able to get this out to everybody else. So please give us a like. We gave you free juice for an hour straight. Literally showed you levels, what's going to happen in the cycle, give you confidence, conviction. You're going to make money off of all this stuff. We gave all that to you for free. We showed you opportunities how to make money for free. Do us a favor, give us a like on the video. Outside that, if you're
Join
not,
TC, links in the bio.
there you go. Exactly. Link in the description below. Join the Taylor's Code to be able to get access to us in our private organization. We're still right under 400 members. As soon as we hit 400 members, the price of the subscription is going to double. So get in now before it does that, so that you get grandfathered in at $25 a month. And then if you want to join our private chat where you get live positional updates from myself, Logan, Bobby, all the other gentlemen that we invest with, when we're buying it, when we're actually selling it, what new assets that we don't talk about on YouTube that we're accumulating before we go public with them on YouTube. Join the private crypto plays, which is within the school community. It's inside the classroom section. Join the private crypto plays. Send me your WhatsApp. We'll get you added to the group chat, and then you'll be able to get access to the private charts, private plays that we're making, etc. And then you'll be able to make money with the gentleman. Okay? Outside of that, I'm good to go.
Yep.
Cool. All right, let me do a little Mr. Producer.
Good night.
Good night. Where did that come from?
Tim Dillon.
Oh, okay. Good night.
He goes, good luck out there, ladies and